So I've kept this a secret from you all. I suffer from SSS, stupidly short syndrome. I didn't want to tell you guys because I was ashamed. I'd think that you'd think badly of me. Yeah, but seriously, being short kind of sucks. Like, there's no benefits. My mom was short and my dad was short, so it wasn't in the cards for me to be tall. Or average height, for that matter. You know, fun fact about us short people, we're actually not people. We're aliens from Pluto. That's why they call it a dwarf planet, okay? It's a government secret, so don't go telling your friends about this. But anyways, it's gone on to the first disadvantage, which is not being able to reach shit or see shit. Now, this isn't as much of a problem as it used to be, for me at least. Before, if there was like a top shelf item, I would just be like, what is he doing? What is that sound? Do we need to call the cops? That was always annoying, having to get a step stool. Disadvantage number 2. This. Whatever this is, like using someone's head as an armrest. If anything, it's less comfortable to do this than to just stand straight. Like, why do people do this? There's no point. I mean, it's pretty rare, but still, like, why? Disadvantage number 3, gym class. And people would tell me it was easier to run when you're short because your legs would take up less energy because they were smaller, or it was because you were closer to the ground, which both of those are complete bullshit because they don't make any sense. So take like 5 of my steps to equal 1 person's step. I mean, that's probably over dramatic, but still, it was way harder to run the mile. And since I didn't know that that was the reason I was usually slower than other people, I just attributed it to me being weak, which is not good for your self-confidence when you think that you're just slower than everyone because you're weak and not because of like a genetical disadvantage. It was like that for really any sport, like badminton. I remember I would hit the birdie, and then my opponent would stick their arm out and smack it across the entire gym, and I would just be like, I couldn't really participate in any sports, really, because my team would never pass to me in the first place, which I get it, I was a big burden. In fact, I remember one time we were playing football, and my teammate had the ball, and everyone else was at, like, the scoring place thing. The rest of my team and the entirety of the other team were all, like, in some huge conglomerate screaming at her to pass the ball, versus me, who was off the side looking at her like, don't throw there, throw to me, we can get an easy point here. Then she looks at the conglomerate of people, then to me, and then she throws it to the conglomerate of people, and it bounces off, and we lose. Why? This is like discrimination. This is heightophobia, a shortophobia. Disadvantage number 4, infantilization. If you don't know what that is, it's basically when you're treated like a child when you are not a child. This happens all the time. Like, people will just treat me like I'm a child or something when I'm obviously not. Thinking that no matter what I do, I'm just a child, and I don't know how to do it, and I just can't do it. Can't do anything by myself. And people will just never take you seriously, which is probably one of the most frustrating parts. It's frustrating because I'm always like, why do I have to be treated like this just because of the length of my bones? In fact, I remember once I was at the barber shop, and you know, I could tell by the way she was talking to me, she thought I was a child, and then eventually asked me, oh, what's your age? I mean, I know she's probably expecting like 12 or 11, but I say, oh, I'm actually 16. And she, no joke, goes, oh, really? You're so little though. I mean, it's pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty funny, but like, you know, still, come on, man. But to be fair, if you look at my old videos, I sounded like this a year ago.
On the planet, like, who looked at radioactive slop and was just like, man, the kids are really gonna enjoy this.
Disadvantage number 5, ghosting. And I'm not talking about the ghosting where it's like you text someone and then they just leave you on red. No. I'm talking about how people just like don't even acknowledge your existence. This isn't really a problem for me anymore because I'm closer to average height now. Back in the day, I would just get pushed and shoved all over the place. And I heard some people say that like, oh, an advantage of being short is like people make way for you so that way they don't bump into you. Which is like, who is doing that? When does that ever happen to anyone? Like in middle school, we had to carry our stuff in a tote bag for whatever reason, and I was leaving class and some dude behind me swings his tote bag behind his shoulder and then just smacks me in the head. He didn't even turn around and say sorry. He probably didn't even notice. Like, I legit forgot where I was for a second because I just got a binder straight to the temple. And that wasn't even the last time it happened, where once I was talking to a teacher in the hall and some girl swung her tote bag across her shoulder and it smacked me in the face, and guess what? She didn't notice. There are ways to increase your height with like a leg lengthening surgery where they break your femur and stick a metal rod in there, which will stimulate bone growth and help you grow up to 6 inches. That's a very noticeable difference. What are you gonna do if like it all breaks apart and you collapse like a dry bones? Like, There are also these heightening shoes, which are just several inches of rubber and then shoes on top of them. It's kind of sad that you get so much shit for being short that people are literally spending like hundreds of thousands of dollars to just be taller. Because we put a lot of worth on being tall. But I know some incels are like, oh, women don't like me because I'm not 6 feet. And it's like, no, nobody likes you because you don't shower. There's a lot of tall people that get like overly prideful about being tall and then become like dickheads because they don't have any personality. But when I was younger, I would have done anything to even just be a little bit taller. Because I got bullied, you know, like it was nothing like too crazy. Like I wasn't seeing people get shoved into lockers. Mainly because I was the one being shoved into a locker. And when I tried to report it to the office, they didn't give a damn. Eventually in middle school, I got so sick of it that I threatened one of them to stab them with a broken pencil if they did not stop. And it worked. I don't feel bad, okay? Adapt and overcome. If they aren't willing to help me, I will help myself. With all the bullying, infantilization, and getting hit in the face with tote bags, that created a nice little cake known as self-worth and social anxiety issues. This cake kinda sucks ass. I'm a lot better now, but in middle school it was so bad that I was like afraid to scratch my legs because I was afraid of someone judging me. And that's not a joke, that's actually like a thought that would go through my head. Nowadays I've come to terms that I'm gonna be short and it is what it is, you know? Like, I can't change that. So in conclusion, don't let something that you can't control you. So that's all from me, see you next time, and you won't find the bodies.